All right, today we're diving into a classic folktale from West Java, Indonesia. It's called Lutung Kasarung. And let me tell you, it's got everything. Royal sisters, a pretty nasty curse, and a mysterious creature who is definitely not what he appears to be.
You know, the whole story really boils down to one big question, one that's as old as time. What happens when jealousy completely takes over a royal heart? Well, for one princess, that single emotion is about to unleash a whole storm of magic, betrayal, and ultimately a lesson that will change her life forever.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in the kingdom of Pasir Batong. It's ruled by a wise and pretty level-headed king, Prabu Tapa Agung, but he's getting on in years and he's got a really tough decision to make. See, he doesn't have any sons, so he has to choose which of his 7 daughters is going to take the throne.
Now, the choice really comes down to 2 sisters who are, well, polar opposites. On one hand, you have the eldest, Purbasari. She's beautiful, no doubt, but she's also super arrogant, cruel, and just consumed by envy. And then you have her complete opposite, the youngest daughter, Purbasari. She's known throughout the kingdom for being kind, noble, and just genuinely a good person. So after thinking it over, the king makes a pretty bold move. He completely bypasses the tradition of the eldest inheriting the throne, and instead he hands it to Purbasari. And why? Because he saw that she had the character, the soft heart, of a real leader. And as you can probably guess, this decision is exactly where all the trouble kicks off.
Oh yeah, Purbasari is absolutely furious. In her mind, that throne is hers by right, and she is not about to accept her father's choice. Her jealousy just boils over, and it sparks this dark, cruel plot to take back what she thinks she's owed.
Her betrayal plays out in 4 very calculated steps. First, she gets her ambitious fiancé, a guy named Raden Indrajaya, in on the plan. Then, the 2 of them go visit a powerful witch named Ni Ronde. From the witch, they get this magical black gunk called Bore. And the final, terrible step, they use it to cast a disfiguring curse on Purbasari herself. The curse is just awful. Purbasari's skin breaks out in these horrible black spots. Purbarang immediately seizes her chance. She lies to the king and the court, saying Purbasari has some kind of contagious disease. The king is heartbroken, but he feels like he has no choice. He banishes his favorite daughter to the forest. So now Purbasari is all alone in the forest. But, she accepts her fate with this incredible grace, and she even starts to befriend all the animals. It's right here, in her darkest moment, that an unlikely friendship is going to change absolutely everything. And this new friend is a mysterious black langur. She names him Lutung Kasarung, which basically means the lost langur. But here's the twist. This is no ordinary animal. He's secretly a god from the heavens named Sanghyang Guruminda. His mother sent him down to earth in this disguise to find someone who would love him for who he is, not what he looks like. Lutung Kasarung sees how kind Purbasari is, even after everything that's happened to her, and he feels so much compassion for her. So he prays to his divine mother, up in the heavens, and she creates a magical, shimmering lake right there in the forest. When Purbasari bathes in it, the curse is just gone, instantly washed away, and her skin is even more beautiful than it was before. Well, word travels fast, and news of Purbasari's miraculous recovery gets back to the kingdom. The king is overjoyed and calls for her to come home. But Purbasari, seeing her grip on the throne slipping, refuses to step down. Instead, she demands a series of challenges to prove who the rightful queen really is. Okay, so the first challenge is a contest of hair length. A little weird, I know. Purbasari is super confident because her hair is long. It goes all the way to her calves. But then Purbasari lets her hair down, and with a little secret help from Lutung Kasarung and the gods, it magically flows all the way down to her heels. So Purbasari wins round 1. Purbasari is not about to admit defeat, so she issues one final dramatic challenge. Whose fiancé is more handsome? She proudly presents her dashing fiancé, Raden Indrajaya, and then everyone just starts laughing. Because Purbasari, with no one else to turn to, presents her loyal companion, the little black langur, Lutung Kasarung. And right there, in this moment of total public humiliation, Purbasari's true character just shines through. She turns to the langur, holds him, and says this quote. She proves that her love is for his spirit, not his looks.
And what she doesn't know is she just passed the exact test that Sanghyang Guruminda's mother had set for him.
The second he hears those heartfelt words, Lutung Kasarung knows he's found it. He's found true love. And just as the whole court is mocking them, this final duel is about to take a seriously divine turn. He sits down, meditates for just a second, and suddenly he's just enveloped in this blinding flash of light and thick smoke. The entire crowd goes silent. They're just watching, completely stunned, as the little langur begins to transform. And when the smoke clears, standing there is Sanghyang Guruminda in his true form, a breathtakingly handsome god from the heavens, whose sheer majesty makes the mortal Radin Indrajaya look, well, totally plain by comparison. I think we know who won the challenge. Purbasari and her fiancé are just floored. They're completely defeated. They fall to their knees and beg Purbasari for mercy. And this is where Purbasari shows what kind of queen she'll be. Instead of punishment or revenge, she offers her sister complete and total forgiveness and invites her to come back and live in the palace. And so, Purbasari becomes the queen, she marries the god she fell in love with, and she rules the kingdom wisely. It's a classic happily ever after for sure, but this ancient story leaves us with some really powerful lessons that are just as important today. Really, when you boil it all down, this story is a beautiful reminder that true beauty comes from your character, from within. It shows us that kindness and a noble heart will always, eventually, win out over cruelty and envy. And maybe most importantly, that forgiveness is a much greater power than revenge, and that you should never, ever judge something or someone just by what you see on the surface. And that brings me to a final thought for you. This tale might be ancient, but these themes, they're everywhere. I mean, think about stories like Beauty and the Beast or even Shrek. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Which modern stories can you think of that echo these powerful ancient themes of hidden worth and inner beauty? Thanks for joining me on this one.